what's up? It's Naomi the Crafty Savage here, and I'm back for this week's Savage Story Time. So make sure you got your drinks, your popcorn, your snacks, whatever it is you need, and we're going to get into this. So this week is Am I the Applesauce? Just real quickly before we get into it, you can obviously hear my voice is like, it's whacked, it's gone. I don't know. I was sick last week. And then it just kind of like, it's so weird. So this week's Savage Story Time is probably going to be a lot shorter than what it normally is because I have to try to save my voice to get through the end of April for the ABCs of April Shay J Reid style, right? Like, fingers crossed, guys, that my voice stays so I can at least get through the end of April. So, let's get into these stories really quickly. Let me put my glasses on, right? Okay. So the first one, am I the applesauce for telling my parents that some traditions need to end and they do not need to tell my wife and I what they think of it because we don't care? I mean, like, what traditions is it? Like traditions are kind of cool, you know what I mean? Like, it's fun to have traditions. I mean, unless you're doing some pretty nasty stuff, you know, then I don't know if I want to be a part of that. Well, we ain't going to get into that, are we? No. So let's get into this one. It says, my family has a name that has traditionally been used for the first boy in each family's generations. I'm James Lawrence. Okay. 2 of my cousins, my dad, and 3 of his cousins, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and his cousins, my great-great-grandfather, and my great-great-great-grandfather all had the same name. Holy hot damn, like, that's a lot of greats, and, like, how can you tell the difference? Like, because I know, like, on the one side of my family, we have a lot of Vincents, right? So, like, the way I break them down is, like, there's my uncle. Then there's another Vincent that I call Bucci by his last name. And then his son is also Vincent. And even though he's a teenager now, I still call him Little Vincent. And that's kind of, like, how we differentiate, you know, like, when we're talking with family, like, on what Vincent it is. That's a lot, though. Holy moly. So it says, one of my cousins is expecting his first son and has already announced that he will be continuing the tradition. Okay. So in another month, we will have 9 living members in the family named James Lawrence. My wife and I are expecting a son. We already decided we will not be continuing the tradition. I never wanted to continue it. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to continue it, you don't have to continue it. I'm kind of leaning towards not the applesauce on this one, but, you know, let's get in because you never know. Something might come popping out of the woodwork that'll just have my jaw drop, right? Let's keep going. Having the same name as so many other living families has been the biggest pain in my buttocks, right? That's not what it says, but that's what I'm saying. And I'm the same age as one of my cousins, and we grew up 5 minutes from each other and went to the same schools. Oh my gosh, that had to be like so confusing. Like, what if you're like the good one and your cousin's the bad one and you keep getting blamed? Like, yeah, that's kind of like, what if you just kind of stick with like the name for just like one person has that name each generation? Like, why have so many of them? That's a lie. It really is. Where was I at? When I tell you it brought up so many complications in my life, I'm not exaggerating. I believe it. My parents were so excited when they heard that we were having a boy, and I told them immediately that we were not naming him James Lawrence. I told them the tradition, as far as my side of the family is concerned, has ended, and I will not encourage it to be continued by my children in the future. But of course, it is up to them ultimately. My parents did not like it and started asking what I can't freaking read, guys. I really can't. Started asking what we did plan to name our son. We told them that they would find out at the time and he would be born before we announce his name. Nothing wrong with that. Ever since, they have attempted to tell my wife and how hurt they are about our decision and how they think it's a bad one. When they realized how little I cared, they focused more on my pregnant wife. Yo, that ain't right. Why you gotta be messing with, like, a pregnant freaking woman and, like, her hormones? Like, that ain't right. Not at all. Like, I get where, like, you know, maybe, like, the parents are hurt because, like, it's a tradition. But at the same time, like, it's not the end of the freaking world if you don't name your son, you know, following the traditions. Like, anywho, let's get back into this. Pregnant wife and attempted with their thoughts on it to guilt her. So I put my foot down. Good for you, because that ain't right, messing with a pregnant woman's hormones and making her feel bad and guilty. Like, no, get out of here. So I put my foot down and recently told them some traditions needed to end and that they do not tell us what they think of that because we do not care and we will not change our minds based on what they think or want. My parents told me I was being callous and dismissive, seeing as they themselves love the tradition. Well, that's good. That's great that you love it. Like, your son don't. Get over yourself, right? Oh, I tell you. I gotta stop looking down off this paper because then I lose where the freak I was at. I was love to believe. And always believed I would love it one day too. I told them they believed that because they never listened to me. But they need to accept it. My parents stormed off and told me I need to grow up and realize I have a childish hatred for the tradition. Excuse me. I'm going with not the applesauce here because, yeah, like, ultimately, it's your kid. If you want to name your kid Joe Schmo or freaking Bubbles, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what you name your kid, you know what I mean? Just because it's a tradition doesn't mean you have to keep that tradition going on a name. Like, no. Go and name your baby Bubbles. Go. I would love for someone to name their kid Bubbles, right? Just to piss their parents off for a tradition. I would be a fly on the wall, like, ready, right? I'm going with not the applesauce on this one. The next one. Am I the applesauce for telling my mom she has no say over what my wife does? Ooh. Ooh. So it goes. I'd like to start off by saying that my wife, 23 female, and I, 23 male, have always been the black sheep of our families and are definitely not the favorite children on either side. Okay. My wife and I met in 7th grade and we have been married for 3 years, meaning we got married at 19, which my mother, 55 female, had a complete exponential breakdown over. But that's not super important. Why would your mom have a breakdown because you got married at 19, but you've known the girl since, what, 7th grade? Like, it's not like you just met her and you're like, oh, hey, let's, just run off and get married. Like, one, you're 19 years old, so, like, technically you're considered an adult. Like, you don't have to. I don't get it. Some of these people, like, not the people writing them, but, like, the other people in the story, like, good gravy. Recently, my wife has voiced her desire to go to Miami. Stay away from Miami. Just, Let me just stop. Go to Miami this summer to see her sister and brother-in-law, okay, as well as their new baby. I was all for this ideal. My wife and her sis have had some issues in the past, and I was super excited that she was the one wanting to see her, and it wasn't me forcing her to visit like I usually end up doing. We had the conversation and phone call about the logistics and whatnot, and the travel plan as well. That don't make sense. As well as we're well be staying is all done? I don't even know what he's trying to say there. I guess maybe like where they're going to be staying is all done. I don't know. I mentioned this in passing to my twin brother, who is actually the favorite child. Yeah, we all got one of them, right? It's freaking demon seed. He can do no wrong. And evidently, he passed this forward to my mom and pops, who we were planning to tell right before we left, so that we could avoid a huge conflict over it. Yesterday morning, my mom called me crying on the phone, saying that I betrayed her once again, and how she couldn't believe I could do this to her. What? Do what? What? Go visit your wife's freaking family in Miami? Like, get over yourself, lady. What is up with these, like, parents? Like, seriously. Like, yes, I get it. Like, they're your children, but they grow up and they move on, and then they start a life of their own. Like, let's continue, right? I asked her what she could possibly be talking about, and she revealed to me that my sister's, she's the eldest child and is probably even with my brother's for favorite, baby showers on the first full day that we'd be in Miami after travel day 1 was over. Before my wife and I started booking things, we made sure that our trip wouldn't interfere with any of our siblings, and we were completely free to be gone from the 2nd through the 8th. I called my sis to see why she rescheduled, and she told me that Mom said she felt like having a shower in May was a bad idea, which makes absolutely no sense, but I don't even want to get into that. We talked, and I told her that I would stay back and come to her baby shower, but I knew my wife wouldn't, and that nobody was going to change my mind or her mind on that decision. My wife is still going to Miami. Good for her. And I'm over the top excited for her. But my mother has been calling us nonstop, saying how rude it was that she chose her sister over mine when we're now a joint family. My mother hasn't met 2/5 of my wife's has only met 2 of 5 of my wife's siblings, simply because she doesn't care to. She called super late last night, going on another one of her tangents about disrespect, and I finally told her that she has no say in how my wife lives her life, and she should be thankful I'm even going to the baby shower. Apparently, this made her sad because my father called earlier this morning saying how out of line I was, but I truly don't think what I did was too bad. Am I the applesauce here? I'm going with not the applesauce. Like, first off, before you even made the plans, like, you made sure, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like, there's nothing that's scheduled, nothing that we got to be at, right? So because your mom decided to change the day of the baby shower, like, that's your fault? No. I mean, and you're even staying behind so you don't miss the baby shower. Like, what more does your mom want? Like, your mom just needs to get over herself and just go somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, your wife would have been at the baby shower had your mom not changed it. I'm going with not the applesauce on this one, all right? This next one. Am I the applesauce for not wanting to hang out with my niece? Excuse me, what? Like, if I had a chance to hang out with Chicky Nuggy and freaking Moose, like, oh my gosh, I'd be there all the freaking time. Like, how could you not? Is your niece ugly? Like, is she nasty? Is she mean? Like, what? Like, because let me tell you, like, I don't care what it is, right? I mean, like, you could offer me $1 million freaking dollars, right? And go, okay, here's $1 million, or hang out with Chicky Nuggy and Moose. Guess what? I'm going with Chicky Nuggy and Moose every freaking time. Like, I love my nieces to death. Like, when I say they might be the reason I moved back to Pennsylvania where it's cold, those two would probably be the ones that if I ever do it, they would be the ones to get me to do it, because I don't want to miss out on their life. So let's get into this, right? Okay, so context first off. I, female 17, love my niece, female 3. Okay, maybe I'm jumping the gun here. Maybe I should have read the story before I just kind of went off on a tangent. I'm usually the first one to want to hang out with her. Okay, maybe I'm starting to feel like the applesauce here. But the main conflict is I do not feel good. I got hit by a car Thursday. So 3 days ago, I'm counting Thursday as today as a day since the crash happened early morning, 8 a.m. That sucks. I'm so sorry. I'm fine besides me having a small concussion and bruises all down my body where I got hit/fell. I'm also super sore. My muscles just aren't feeling the best, so I can't handle a toddler at this moment. That's understandable. I mean, like if I was sick or something like this happened, obviously, as much as I would love to be around Chicky Nuggy and Moose, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Even my older niece, Katerina, like if I was sick or I just, you know, because you're sore and you just kind of want to rest. So I'm kind of leaning now towards not the applesauce because you have valid reasons here. Where was I at? Muscles just aren't feeling best, so I can't have a child. My brother, male 23, and his baby mama do week to week. On my brother's weekends, I usually spend at least several hours with my niece, taking her to the park, out to eat, etc. I obviously cannot drive with a concussion, so my brother has spent all morning trying to talk me into walking to the park with her and doing my usual stuff. He's been saying that she's been talking about it all week and I'm letting her down, etc., which I can understand. It sucks that I can't hang out with her, but I can hardly stand without getting dizzy as hell. I just really want to know if I'm in the wrong. It sucks I'm letting her down, but I feel like it's a terrible idea for me to take her right now. And you know what, honey? I'm going with that you are not the applesauce because, one, like, you got a concussion. Like, it sounds like your brother's just being lazy and just trying to pass his child off to you. That's what it sounds like. Like, in all honesty, like, you got hit by a freaking car. You got a concussion. Like, what makes him think that you're going to be able to, like, chase after a 3-year-old? Hello? So, yeah, no, definitely not the applesauce, but, like, your brother is. Like, and I get it. You know what I mean? Your niece is probably excited to hang out with you. And, you know, she probably doesn't, like, at 3, I'm not saying they don't understand, you know, but it's not like older child or an adult, you know what I mean, that can, like, understand that. It just sounds like your brother's the applesauce and he needs to stop shrugging his responsibility of his children onto you. That's just my 2 opinions, right? Let's get into this last one here. Am I the applesauce for offering dog floor bacon? What? What? For offering dog floor bacon. So did bacon fall on the floor and you're trying to, like, feed it to people? Because if so, like, you are the applesauce and you were just downright nasty. I mean, like, bacon is fantastic. But, like, I ain't eating bacon off the floor. No. That's just, no. I don't care how clean your floors are. No. Let's get into it because, you know, hey, I might be just reading the title, blowing it all out of proportion. Let's go, right? So it says, I went to brunch today with my partner and toddler this morning. It has been unseasonably warm in Chicago, so we decided to take advantage of the good weather and sit on the patio. Dogs are allowed on the patio as long as they're on a leash. And a table by us had a cute little dog with them. Okay. At some point, my toddler dropped a piece of bacon on accident. Okay. This bacon is the Primo thick bacon, like 3 slices for $7. But we obviously aren't going to eat it off the floor. Okay. Whew, you had me scared there. I thought you were feeding people, like, bacon that fell on your floor. Because if so, I'd be like, y'all are nasty. Like, I ain't eating at your house. I'm going to need your name, your number, your address, just so I know not to come eat at your house. But that's not the case. I'm sorry. My bad. I apologize. I thought you were the applesauce. There I go, just assuming things, right? Let's keep going. So I turned to the table with the dog and told them my son dropped a piece of bacon and their dog can have it if they want it. The owner looked at me like I just crapped on her face and told me I was disgusting to offer her dog a piece of floor food. Excuse me, what? Like, is your dog some, like, grand champion? And even then, I don't think the dog's gonna mind some bacon that fell on the floor. Like, I'm leaning towards not the applesauce here, but that dog owner is the applesauce. But then again, like, I don't know, say for some reason I was out with Roscoe, he's allergic to chicken. Like, if he eats anything with chicken, it makes him so itchy that, like, he will just scratch and scratch until he's, like, knocks all of his fur off, and then, like, he just gives himself sores. Like, so, I mean, maybe that, but it's like, I mean, that would probably be, like, the only way. I'd be like, no, we can't have it. But I would say he's allergic to chicken. You know what I mean? Like, not, my dog's not going to have floor food. Do you know how happy Roscoe gets when something drops on the floor? He is, like, all over it. Like, he is the best little vacuum cleaner when it comes to, like, you drop a piece of food on the floor. Excuse me. And told me it was disgusting to offer her dog a piece of floor food. She suggested my child could eat it if I didn't think it was a big deal. I don't even know what to say to it. Like, oh, sweetheart, you are not the applesauce, but this dog owner is definitely the applesauce. Now, I mean, I get it, you know, like, dogs are like family, you know what I mean? Like, we spoil them. We, you know, for crying out loud, Roscoe has his own pillows, silk freaking pillows on my bed that he sleeps with, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I get, you know, spoiling, maybe going a little overboard, but, like, this is just, like, ridiculous. Like, what the good crazy. So it says, I didn't mean it as an insult, so I was kind of taken aback. I would be too. And thought her comment about my kid was unnecessarily rude. It was. Like, it definitely was. I would personally feed my dog a piece of bacon that fell on the ground. I also didn't just offer it to the dog without asking. I suggested it as a bonus treat. The neighborhood I live in is super dog friendly, and I think that some of the people can go really goofy about their dogs. I think this lady was definitely the applesauce, and I don't think I did anything wrong. Am I the applesauce here? No, sweetheart, you are not the applesauce. Like, that lady, like, not only is she a few fries short of a Happy Meal, like, she's missing the whole toy out of the Happy Meal. Like, the whole toy. You are not the applesauce. I really kind of feel like all these stories, that people aren't the applesauce, but the other people are the applesauce. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is the biggest applesauce? I kind of want to go with, I think the biggest applesauce would be the brother of the girl that got hit by a car, you know what I mean, and was, like, not going to be able to hang out with her 3-year-old niece. Like, I think he's the applesauce, but I want to know what you think. Leave your comment down below. Let me know, who do you think's the biggest applesauce? But with that said, guys, I'm going to hop on out of here. If you're new to the channel and you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time, guys.